Hello, and welcome to Just Therapist Things, where we talk all things therapy. My name is Jordan, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist from California. I'm a private practice owner of Vital Mind Therapy, where I see clients virtually and in person. I also lead support groups for a nonprofit cancer support organization. Thanks for listening. Hello, everyone. I hope you are having a good day today. So, I don't know if you caught that change in my introduction, but exciting news. I am currently a private practice owner as of about a week ago from when I'm recording this episode. It has been very exciting and overwhelming, and there's just a lot to do, but it has been great so far. And this episode, I'm going to talk about what I have done so far to build my practice, what I have learned, mistakes that I have made, and I will detail some of the regulations and kind of businessy things that you have to do when starting a private practice, specifically in California. Also, just a little disclaimer, I'm going to name drop some companies and some businesses that I have found inspiration from or that I am using to launch my business in this episode, but I am not sponsored by any of them. And this episode is specifically not sponsored by any of them, but if you guys, if you want to sponsor me, then feel free to reach out. Wink, wink. So, first, to start a therapy private practice, you have to have a dream, you have to have a passion, you have to have a vision. So, it does take a lot of work and it does take a lot of time and effort. So, only really do it if you are feeling like you are ready, that you're at the stage in your life financially and professionally that you are ready to take this step. And also know that you may never feel 100% ready. I think that that's true in a lot of things in life. You feel like you're ready to, get married, to have a baby, things like that. But are you ever really fully 100% ready? I don't know if you can be if you've never experienced something before. So just know that it's okay to not feel 100% ready. But if you are feeling logically, emotionally ready, then it's probably a great step for you. So, first, you probably already have this, but definitely get a membership to one of the state or federal therapy organizations. So, you might have had something like this, or you probably definitely did. I don't know regulations in other states, but in California, when you are an intern, then we have to get intern liability insurance and things like that. So, I have been using CAMFT, California Association of Marriage and Family Therapy, and I've been using that since I was an intern. So I used it when I was an associate too. And now that I am licensed, then I am doing the clinical membership for them. And so what that means is that I basically get all the benefits that they have of the networking, of the legal consultation, of their events and things like that. They're just really, really great. And with that, the liability insurance. So they partner with CPH Insurance, and that is who I have my malpractice insurance. When you are starting a business, you have to ensure that you protect yourself with insurance, but also just with your therapy license in general. It's really important to have that protection and have that liability insurance. And it's also really important to have legal counsel who understand how therapy works that you can consult with. So, just all the precautions for being a therapist and a business. Something that I have found extremely helpful when starting my private practice is to have colleagues that I am talking to who are already in private practice or colleagues who are going through the process at kind of the similar time that you are. I luckily have some amazing colleagues and friends who are literally going through this process at the exact same time as me. And this has been super, super helpful. And, we'll develop a consultation group and things like that. But just when getting all the business things off the ground, it's been so helpful to have people to bounce ideas off of. And with that, as I said, definitely reach out to people, through your grad school or through past jobs that maybe have already made the transition to private practice, and just have them kind of be your, not formal mentor, but reach out to them and connect with them. And if you have any kind of pressing questions, then they should be very, very thrilled, to talk to you. I feel like therapists love helping other therapists. So don't hesitate to reach out to someone like that. To launch your business, you also have to find your National Provider Identifier, or your NPI, which is a unique identification number for all health providers. You likely already have one, so you just need to look it up. You can look this up through the npiregistry.gov. And the purpose of finding this is just so you can have it on all your legal documents and things like that, just showing that you are a registered healthcare employee, federally or statewide. I think it's federally. So just look that up, just have that, write it down somewhere, take a screenshot, save it in your files, just so you know what that is. So at this point, everything that I've said so far, I pretty much kind of did by myself through my own research and talking to other people. But then I thought, hey, I should see if Dr. Marie Fang from Private Practice Skills has any guides or advice. I have been fangirling Dr. Marie Fang for so many years now. And of course, she has had incredibly helpful free guides on her website and in her business, Private Practice Skills, that have helped me so much throughout this process so far. She has an incredibly helpful free guide called Starting a Private Practice in Counseling, and I started to use her checklist for the rest of my business planning. Dr. Fang has amazing tips for marketing as well, really just everything that you need to know to start a private practice. And I also did one of her courses, which I will talk about later, but I will link her details in my episode notes so you can check her out. Dr. Fang's guide taught me that you should also apply for your EIN, or your Employer Identification Number, so that especially if you are a sole proprietor, you can use this number rather than your own social security number on important documents such as client super bills. So this number is assigned by the IRS to business entities for identification purposes. You don't need an EIN, I'm pretty sure, but it is definitely a good idea to have one, as I learned from Dr. Fang, so that you do not use your social security number on any legal documents, on any client super bills. So it's basically just protection for yourself. So at this point, you might have done this already, but it also I'm just going to say it, but you have to decide on your business type. So for therapists in private practice, from my research and through CAMFT articles and things like that, I have found that most therapists who go into private practice go in as a sole proprietor, as an S Corp, or an LLC. So, little fun fact here is that I have learned through my research that in California, for a therapy private practice, you can only be a sole proprietor or an S Corp. So, you cannot be an LLC in California. And that was actually something that was kind of surprising to me to hear, because I didn't really know what an S Corp is. I honestly still don't really know too much. But I was thinking about doing a small business LLC until I realized that in California, you can't do that if you have a therapy private practice. So basically, the main difference between all of these types of businesses is the level of protection that you have and the simplicity, or just differences in how you file your taxes. I ended up going the sole proprietorship route because what that says is that it basically says that my business entity is me and that I am my business entity. And from my research, I found that it is the simplest way to start out in private practice, just because it's kind of easier to file your taxes. It's easier to register as a business, things like that. And at this point in my life, I don't have like too many. I mean, I definitely want to protect myself, but I don't have too many assets like a house or anything that would need protection. So once I do have more assets, like a house, like a boat, I don't know, I'm not going to get a boat, but something like that, that's when I would probably transition to. So once you get all of these things in check and decide on your form of business or business type, you need to decide what you will call your business. And hopefully you've been thinking about that for a little bit if you've been thinking about going into private practice. So, if your business is going to be called anything besides your own name, you will need to register it as a DBA, which means doing business as. I chose to go this route because I like the idea of my business being called something other than my name. And also, so if I have associates later on, I don't need to change my business name since it's already kind of a pretty general name. It's not, Jordan Long Therapy. But I have seen that people do, when they do put their name as their business, then if they do get associates later on, they just add Jordan Long Therapy and Associates or Jordan Long, Group, something like that. But I've had this name, Vital Mind Therapy, kind of in my back pocket since grad school, and it's a meaningful name for me, so I decided to call my practice that. And so if you choose to call your business or just go by your own name, you do not need to register. Something else that you have to do, and I would recommend doing it pretty early on in your business adventures, is to apply for a business license in your city or county. In my experience, this is super easy. You just really add all your information online and then pay a fee. The fee in California or in my city is about like $60 annually, so not too awful. If you are using a DBA for your business, you also need to file an FBN, which is fictitious business name, with the city or county. And this is basically just filing your name. So this also comes with a few costs. So filing, I've experienced in my city, is like $65. And then with an FBN, at least in the city where I am filing my business, you also are required to publish your business in a local newspaper. I am working on doing that currently, and there is a cost to that as well, ranging from what I've researched from $60 to $100. And I actually had no idea that I would be required to do this. And it's kind of interesting to me. I wonder what the legal purpose is. Maybe just to announce that there's a new business in town. I'm not sure. But I'm okay with it. It's kind of cool, and maybe it'll bring my business some recognition in the community. So, something to note with the FBN: the location on your FBN registration must match the address on your business license. And these same addresses, it's the same one that is going to be published in the newspaper. So I am having a little issue with that right now because I did not realize that they would be the same one that's filed in the newspaper, the address on my business license and my FBN. So I put my home address with the apartment number and all of that. And obviously, I do not want that published in a newspaper. So unfortunately, I need to redo the whole process. I mean, it sounds like a whole process, but it's really not too bad. I just need to change it online, go to City Hall, file a new FBN, things like that. And I have to do that to change my address to my office address so that my personal address is not published in the newspaper, if that makes sense. So, again, I just realized this. Sadly, we'll need to do all the work this week, but I mean, it kind of sucks, but it won't take too long. So, while doing all this, work on your website. Your website is super important, and it is important to make it user friendly and aesthetically pleasing. I used Squarespace for my website, and I truly love it. I love how you can do other things through Squarespace too, besides just having your website, such as registering your domain, Google Workspace, creating courses, marketing, etc. And I will get into some of these. It is kind of intimidating just to start from scratch building your website, and I did consider hiring someone for it. But I kind of just went for it. I asked friends and family to proofread it before I published, and I think it turned out pretty well. And Squarespace is approximately $23 a month, depending on the plan that you choose. So, with your website, it is important to get a domain name, which is basically just the way that people find your business online. You can easily register your domain name through Squarespace, and it's only about $20 a year to do so. Squarespace also connects you to a work email through Google Workspace. Google Workspace is a low cost business Gmail. It's different than the normal Gmail because it provides additional security measures, storage, and collaboration if you have employees. Also, when you agree to Google's Business Associate Addendum, or the BAA, it makes your Google Workspace HIPAA compliant, which is awesome. Google Workspace has a great resource called Google My Business, or GMB. It is kind of a hidden gem in Google My Business, or at least it was hidden for me because I did not know about it until Dr. Marie Fang of Private Practice Skills. I took her awesome course called GMB Secrets, which goes over in detail all of the ways to take advantage of Google My Business. Google My Business is a really cool way to get your business live on Google and coming up in search results. It is really similar to building your SEO or your search engine optimization. I highly recommend this course on private practice skills, and it's only $29. So, again, I am linking the private practice skills website in my episode notes. Squarespace really does a great job at helping you with SEO as well. And you can actually hire someone through the website to help you. I just did my own research with SEO, and also I consulted my tech savvy and SEO savvy friends. Squarespace makes it really easy, though, to just really optimize your website search. So, with your website, I still do recommend signing up for Psychology Today because it's just kind of it's a well known therapy database. And I feel like a lot of people, when they're searching for therapists, they just look up Psychology Today. So, I think it's important to maximize your marketing. And Psychology Today is like $30 a month. Also, something that you should do pretty much right away is to get a business bank account. I waited on this, which I shouldn't have. I wish I did it at the beginning of all my business things because then all of my expenses, like when I'm paying for Psychology Today, Squarespace, things like that, they weren't going directly into my business bank account. And it takes just for normal accounts, like it takes a minute to get the card and to do all of that. So it's not too big of a deal because with my accounting bookkeeping software, then I really just have to go back and I have to add the expenses for my business account. So it's not too big of a deal, but it would have been nice to just not have had to do that. So I just opened a business checking account, but you can also do a business savings account or get a business credit card if you want. I was recommended to check out Bluevine by other therapists because it is apparently great for small businesses, and actually Herd, which is the accounting and bookkeeping and tax platform that I use, they recommended Bluevine as well. So it seems like a really great option. But pretty much all major banks have business accounts. And so I just ended up going with the bank that I've been using for all my other accounts, just because it was easy and, I trust them, and it was just kind of the simplest thing to do. Some business bank accounts are free, some have a monthly fee. So you just have to do some research to see what's best for you. So, as I mentioned, I did end up going through Herd for my accounting, bookkeeping, tax stuff. And I Heard for Therapists is highly, highly recommended among all therapists. And they have been amazing so far, just handling bookkeeping, taxes. I had a Zoom meeting with someone who I consulted with before signing up, and they've just been so, so helpful. And so with Herd, they basically do your taxes. They have access to your business checking account, and so they see all the business expenses, and they really just make sure that all your finances are in check. And I love Herd so far because it is made for therapists, which is awesome. So they understand everything that kind of goes into a therapy practice, and you have a team of accountants supporting you and helping you with practice. But again, really amazing because it is built for therapists. Something else that I did is that I consulted with Headway, which is a company that makes it simple for therapists to accept insurance in private practice and expand accessibility for clients. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to use Headway, maybe when I'm further along in my business. There's some, if you're a therapist and you're listening to this, there's considerations when it comes to taking insurance. But Headway, from what I've consulted on, what I've researched so far, sounds awesome. Okay, so you got your website, you got all your businessy things, you are ready for clients. You need an EHR, or an electronic health record, which compiles your patient's information, treatment records, all of that stuff. I, no question, went with SimplePractice because I have experience with SimplePractice, but also it is just recommended by everybody. SimplePractice is great because it has super easy scheduling, client onboarding, and it also generates super bills, diagnostic codes, invoices, assessments. It really has everything that you need. SimplePractice costs about $44 a month, depending on the plan that you choose. So with getting your clients ready, you are hopefully thinking about if you want to have your practice in person or virtual or both. I personally want both just because I've tried all virtual, I've tried all in person, and I've realized that hybrid is really just best for my life balance. I knew pretty much right away that, at least at first, I wanted to sublease a space. So I knew I wanted to do this because usually subleases have a more flexible commitment. It's not, a 2-year commitment or something like that. Because, where I am in my life, my fiance and I, we don't know exactly where we're going to settle down or if we're going to move apartments in the near future. So subleasing just made the most sense. I searched on Craigslist, Facebook, Google, etc., and I ended up finding this awesome company that leases office space just for therapists and just for other healthcare professionals on an hourly or daily basis. This was so appealing to me, to be in a space with other therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, etc., because of course you can network and make connections with others in the mental health field, but it's also just great having people around you who kind of know what you're doing, know what your job is about, know kind of what you're going through on a day-to-day basis. So this also means, because the space is for therapists, that the rooms are set up perfectly for therapy in terms of having a waiting room, having individual offices, having sound machines, tissues, etc. So this is just, kind of a perfect location. So that is what I'm doing. I did look at co-working spaces too. I looked at other sublease options. But with co-working spaces specifically, the confidentiality for clients just wasn't there like a dedicated therapy space was. But, you can sublease from a colleague, you can sublease, share office space with a friend. There are so many options of what you can do. So to summarize everything, to start a therapy private practice, you have to have your passions, you have to do your research, and I definitely recommend calling on friends, family, colleagues, therapists in your area for support. I am so grateful to have a huge village of hype people, supporters, number one fans to help me through this exciting yet scary transition. This is pretty much what I have done so far in growing my business, and I'm really honing in on the marketing aspect now. So I will most likely do an episode on marketing and just how that is going and what I have found. But I hope this is helpful for anyone who is thinking about or in the process of starting your therapy private practice, and know that we got this. We're going to do it. People figure it out and we can do it as well. So I'm here with you. Please feel free to reach out if you want to chat, if you have any questions about anything that I talked about today, but I will add some links down below, and thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to Just Therapist Things, where we talk all things therapy. I'll talk to you soon.